Okay, so first off, I went online this morning to my own Canvas page and I printed this out. This is all of the objectives that you need to know for this unit. And the ones I've highlighted in yellow are things that we have covered. And I want to cover those with you to be sure you've got it. The things in orange are things I plan to do today. So you can see in the stuff that's not highlighted are things we haven't done yet. We still have 2 weeks. So I want to go over a few of these here, but I want to show you where you can find them if you don't already know. First, you need to go to your Canvas page. So let's go to AP Bio. Let me put on the student view so you can see something that's familiar. And if you scroll down, there's Unit 8, Ecology. Click on that, and you have all these different sections. You have Section 1, Sections 2 and 5, Sections 3 and 4, Sections 6 and 7. Well, click on the part that says Enduring Understanding and Learning Objectives and Essential Knowledges. You click on that, and this is everything that you will need to know, not only for my test, but for the AP Bio exam. These come from AP or from College Board. And so you're reading through it. If you know it, move on. If you don't know it, review it, recite it, study it. For instance, let's look right here. Organisms have a variety of signaling behaviors that produces changes in the behavior of other organisms that can result in differential reproductive success. Mating calls, things like that. We haven't done that yet, so obviously it's not highlighted on my paper. Animals use visual, audible, tactile, electrical, and chemical signals to indicate dominance, find food, establish territory, and ensure reproductive success. So these are all things that you need to look over, especially when you're getting ready for not only my final test, but for the AP exam in just 7 weeks. So I have these here, and I want to go over a few of them before we get started with today's lesson. So there you all are. And I want to read over a few of these. I want to see what you all might know and recall, okay? So first off, describe the strategies organisms use to acquire energy, okay? There's basically 2 ways: autotropism, heterotrophism. What does it mean to be an autotroph? You make your own food. What does it mean to be a heterotroph? You find food. Now there's 2 different autotrophs we discussed on Wednesday. Can you recall what they are? 2 different autotrophs. You're not wrong, but I want a better name than plants. Read. Photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs get energy from the sun. Chemoautotrophs get their energy from inorganic compounds. Remember that Dr. Bob Ballard with the bottom of the ocean on robots discovered ecosystems in the cold darkness of the bottom of the ocean? Okay. Explain how changes in energy availability affect populations and ecosystems. So what type of biome has the most energy available on Earth, on the land? Rainforest. Why? Why is it in a tundra? Why is it in a desert? Why is it a rainforest, Jake? Why is there a vast amount of energy? Why are there more producers? What conditions particularly are you referring to? The bio. Sunlight. Where on Earth are tropical rainforests located? Between Cancer and Capricorn, basically the equator. What is unique about what is the relationship between the equator and sunlight, Sarah? That's where the sun hits the Earth most directly. There's really no seasons in the tropics. It's summer 365. Now, because there's more sunlight, what type of trophic level can you have the most of? Primary producers. And if you have more primary producers than anywhere on Earth, what can you also have the most of? Consumers of each level, of each trophic level. So you all are right. I just want you to, you can't just, on the AP exam, you can't just say there's more plants. You got to be able to say why. There's more plants in the tropics because there's more sunlight. And when there's more sunlight, there's more energy. And when there's more energy, you can also have more of the other levels, the herbivores, the carnivores, and so on and so on. Okay. All right, I got a great example for this one. Different organisms use different reproductive strategies. What are those two different strategies we discussed yesterday? What are they called? Remember what they call them? One, they start with the letter R and K. Are you, this Homo sapien, are you an R strategist or a K strategist? K. The thing about a K is that they have large bodies, long lives, they mature slowly, very few offspring, very parental, and they mature slowly. If I miss anything, they're not very adaptable. So check this out. Annie, I need you to stick your hand out. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Annie, stick your hand out. This is my child. Wow. Oh, look cute. I'm going to put all my love, all my attention, all my resources into taking care of this and accomplishing one goal, hitting your hand with this. Your hand is adulthood. This is my child. I want my child to get to adulthood, right? One child, all my effort. Here we go. It's a marker. I'm not going to hurl it at you. Stick your hand up. Okay, here we go. Yes. All right. My child reached adulthood. Now, was that an R strategist or a K strategist? R. What? Who said R? Come on. Why would that be an R? But that was my one baby that I took a whole lot of care for. I really tried. No, I tried. I aimed. You want me to chuck something at you? Okay.
But if you let it go, so wouldn't that be
Okay. Here's the R strategy. Hold your hand out. You ready? Did I really aim? No. I just had a lot of babies. I didn't really take care of them. Just hopefully something's going to hit. I don't know if it did or didn't. Do most offspring of R strategists make it to adulthood? Definitely not. Probably less than 5%. So there's the big difference between R and K. Thank you, Annie. Are you still scared? Good. Okay. Let's see. All right, here we go. Emma, weight gain, weight loss, 101. If you burn more calories than you eat, will you gain weight or lose weight? If you consume more calories than you burn, what will happen? That's biology. Okay, it says this is what College Board says you need to know. A net gain in energy results in energy storage and the growth of the organism. That's weight gain, biomass gain. A net loss of energy results in loss of mass. That's loss of biomass. Blah, blah, blah. Where do photosynthetic organisms capture their energy from? Where do chemosynthetic organisms capture their energy from? The environment. Okay, living systems are organized in a hierarchy of structural levels. What is the base of every trophic system? What is on top of what consumes the primary producers? What consumes the primary consumers? What consumes the secondary consumers? What consumes the tertiary consumers? Can every ecosystem support a quaternary consumer? Why not? Not enough energy to go around. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about biodiversity. Biodiversity is good. And here's why it's so good. I really want to get this across to you all. If an ecosystem has a lot of species, I'm talking a lot of species. Not only do they have a lot of species, there are a lot of individuals on that species. If you remove a species from that ecosystem, then probably you're going to be able to recover. I have a classroom here with about, let's see, probably 20 of you. If one of you is absent, it's really not going to upset the flow of the room. There's 20 students. We're missing one. Big deal. That's 5%. In my sixth period, or excuse me, my second period, I only have 6 students in person. Everyone else is online. If one kid is gone, that's like 16% of the class. So imagine that if you are in a tropical rainforest and there's 100 different species of bird, one bird goes extinct, like one species. You still have 99 to go. You're fine. But what if you're in the tundra and there's only 5 species of birds and one of them goes extinct? That's 20% of the bird species. So biodiversity is good in that if something were to happen, is it going to have a major effect? Probably not. I always like to bring up sports and everything. In football, you have 11 players from each team on the field. Okay? Plain High School is a pretty big school. I think they have about 90 players. So follow me. If one player gets hurt on a 90-player team, is that going to be that bad? No. That's a very diverse team. What if you're like Robinson High, where you only have 40 players on your team, and one person gets hurt? Is that going to have more of an effect than losing 1 out of 90? Yeah. All right, and the last thing. What is symbiosis? Or a symbiotic relationship? Jake?
How organisms interact with each other.
Okay,
So
it's
if one benefits or one doesn't benefit or one benefits part of
it's a relationship that 2 different species have with each other where at least one is benefiting from the relationship, and typically one of them has to have the other to survive. And the 3 types are mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. We'll talk about those today. All those questions I just asked you are accessible by you on the Canvas page of this class. So let's get into what I have for you today. I'm going to get out from behind this podium. I want to go over one of the PowerPoints you guys have, and I want to really talk about something very unique. Or it's not unique. It can be a little tricky at first. It's called predator-prey dynamics. We'll get to that today. So let's get started. This should take us to the end of class. It's only about 20 minutes. I'll pick them up later. Okay, hold on. All right, let's do it. Where's my clicker? Okay, guys. I want to end today's class with succession. That's where we need to end today. So, remember that a community is just multiple populations that are living in the same place at the same time. An organism is an individual. A population is a group of that same species. All of you are a population of humans. Plain High School is a community. We have humans, we have squirrels, we have rats, we have ants, we have other bugs, we have birds. Yesterday we talked about species composition, biodiversity, and species richness. Let's see if you can recall the difference, especially between species richness and species diversity. Species richness is how many species are present. That's it. How many species are present? Biodiversity is how many species are present and how many individuals of each species are there. Plain High School has about 2,556 human individual students. Robinson has less than, or more than 1,000 less than me. They have like 14 or 1,500. We have more than 1,000 kids at Plain in Robinson. So Plain is more biodiverse. Richness is how many species there are. Biodiversity is how many species there are and how many individuals of each species there are. If you take a look at this infrared image of the planet Earth, you can actually see that there are warmer areas. Those are warmer colors. Those are more light. That's more productivity. As Sarah was indicating, there's more light here because there's more sunlight there, which means there's more plant life there, which means there's more herbivores there, which means there's more carnivores there. It's all cyclical. It's a domino effect, trickle-down effect. One affects the other. What do you call the role that every organism has in its environment? Besides Jake and Reed, you 2 are doing fine. Any other voices? Niche, whatever. It is your job. It is your purpose. It is what you do. Someone earlier today asked, well, what do mosquitoes do? What's their job? Okay, I can tell you 2 jobs they have. One, do you guys know where a mosquito begins its life? In water. What do you think they serve a source of? Food for fish. And then secondly, mosquitoes as adults, what do they spread? Disease. So they are population control. Well, everything has a job to do. That's called its niche. But we have an issue here. What if you have two organisms, two species that live in the same area that occupy the same niche? Bingo. I'm the only AP Bio teacher here at Plant High School. I teach 6 classes of AP Bio. What if another AP Bio teacher came on in here and tried to take my classes? Oh, that's fun. Or we might be able to partition something. So there are different outcomes other than competition. You can do something called partition. I'll get to that momentarily. So take a look at this diagram with this blue bacteria. As I really try to stress to you all, on this part of this class, there's a lot of graphs. And you have to be able to read these graphs. The y-axis represents population density. You go up, the numbers go higher. This blue bacteria is increasing in population because it has a lot of food. It is being very successful. And then it levels out because it has the carrying capacity. This golden bacteria eats the same food as the blue one. It is placed in a separate environment, and it is grown, and it has exponential growth, and then it levels out of the carrying capacity. But Annie, what happens when we put the blue and the gold together? Which one won? The blue one won out. It outcompeted the gold. So this is direct competition. There are winners and there are losers, but that's not always the only choice. There's something called the competitive exclusion principle. This means that there can only be one. There can only be one apex predator. There can only be one alpha male or female. There can only be one Hulk, one Thor, one Iron Man. You can't have multiples. Everything has its own role. If you have two organisms that live in the same environment, they're going to compete, and someone's going to be thrown out. This is known as the competitive exclusion principle. No two species can indefinitely occupy the same niche at the same time in the same place. But, what is but? You can get along by partitioning. For example, John, you love pizza. What type of pizza do you like?
Cheese pizza.
Cheese pizza. Chloe, you like pizza. What type of pizza do you like? Okay, perfect. So John's niche, his purpose is to eat pizza. Chloe's niche is to eat pizza. Chloe moves on into John's territory. We've got issues. We have two different individuals, different species, if you will. They have the same niche. No two species can indefinitely occupy the same niche at the same time. However, to avoid some major conflict and one of you getting wiped out, we can get even more specialized. So she likes pizza, he likes pizza. But let's get even more in depth. She will only eat pepperoni pizza. He will only eat cheese pizza. Everybody's happy. Take a look at these two animals. An owl and a hawk. They both eat small birds and small mammals. They have the same niche. How can they avoid directly competing with each other? Jake? Okay, perhaps they're going to dine on different creatures, but in real life, what the blue jays, there's a different way in which they actually partition their niches. You guys think about it. Owl. Read. They will hunt at night. Hawk is sleeping. During the day, owl is sleeping. Hawk is hunting. They don't interfere with each other. Have you guys ever heard of the movie Fight Club? In the movie Fight Club, one of the main characters goes to these like these little groups, these helpers, like Alcoholics Anonymous, or I have breast cancer, I have testicular cancer, I have liver cancer. They go all these support groups, and they show up for the work. They don't. The main character doesn't have any of those diseases. He just goes there to kind of like something to do, feel better about himself. And when he shows up, there's this woman there. And she's showing up for the same reasons he is. And he's like, you can't do that. You don't have these diseases. This is for me. You can't come into this space and take this away from me. She says, yeah, right back at you. So what are we going to do about it? I'll come Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, you come Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. They are partitioning their niche. So they don't have to directly compete with each other. This is also known as niche specialization, where John likes pizza, Chloe likes pizza. Can we get even more specific? Yes, cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza. Okay? Let's say that Jake is walking around, I'm the big bully at Plant High School. And then Yannick shows up, I'm the big bully at Plant High School. Okay, we've got problems. We have a conflict. We have to have our bully at Plant High School. There's that niche that needs to be filled. So let's do this. You get to be the big bully on South Hall and New Building. Jake gets to be the bully in Cafeteria and Main Hall. Problem solved. They have specialized. Can we get more specific than just being the bully? Okay, how about we stick to an area so we don't have to interact? These 5 birds had the same niche, and they kept competing with each other. That risked extinction. So to avoid that, they became even more specialized, where they're going to occupy a different area of the tree. So they don't have to come into contact with each other. They are becoming even more specialized. Think about sharks. Some sharks, all sharks actually, they're carnivores. They're the top predators. But what you all know that sharks can interact with each other. So some sharks will hunt at different layers of the ocean. Some are near the surface. Some are near like 200 meters down. Some are on the bottom of the ocean. So they don't have to mess with each other. Now, this is the big one for today. Predator-prey dynamics. This takes about a minute or two for y'all to understand. You cannot just say, you can't just say the answers to the questions that I'm about to ask you. You have to be able to say why that's the answer. All right? So let's get through this. This is a big one. Remember, graph, Unit 8. You need to know this. The green lines represent the prey item. These are a hare, like a rabbit. The red line represents a lynx, which is like a bobcat up north. The predator eats the prey. Okay, so let's see if you can figure this out. The x-axis is time, the y-axis is number of individuals in the thousands. Clearly, there are way more prey animals than predators. Here we go. Lisbon, right here. The prey item is down. It has declined. Here's my question. What would cause the actual numbers of rabbits to decline?
Less food for them to eat or more.
Think about it in relation to the predators.
More predators.
There's more predators. Okay, so guys, this is all cause and effect. The reason why the prey item is going down is because the predators are eating. That's the first question. Why is the prey down? Because the predators are eating. Here's question number 2. What effect will this have on the predator population? The prey is now down here. What is that going to do to the predators, Jake? And so it will happen to the predator population up there. Okay, cause and effect. The predators were up here. The prey went down. Because the prey went down, predators went down. Now, cause and effect, okay? The predators have now declined in their numbers. What will this do for the prey? The predators are down here now. See, this takes a minute to understand. The predators are down here. What effect will this have on the prey? What? They will increase. Look at that. They're up here. Now, the prey is way up here. What effect will this have on the predators? The predators will increase. And you're going to start to see this is cyclical. Now that the predators are going up, what will this do to the prey? The prey will decrease. Now that the prey has decreased, what will this do to the predators? The The prey is decreasing. The amount of food is going down. So what will happen to the predators? The predators will decrease. So let's see if you guys can follow me on here. Look up here. Green is predator, green is prey. What happened? Did the prey increase or decrease? It increased. What would allow that to happen? A decrease in the predators. Okay. Prey goes down. What would cause that? An increase in the predators. Prey goes up again. Why? A decrease in the predators, okay? Red is predator. If the prey is down here, do you think the predators are going to come before that? Their trend will come before that or after that? The prey declines. So the prey is down here. Why is the prey down here? What caused the prey numbers to drop? There are more predators. Okay, let's start here. So the prey, the food, is now very low. What will this do to the predator trend? The predator trend will decrease. Because the predator trend is going down, what will this do to the prey trend? The prey will increase. There it goes. Okay, keep going. The prey is increasing. What will this do to the predators? The amount of food is going up. Increase. Because the amount of killers is going up, what will this do to the amount of food? It will decrease. And now that the amount of food is going down, what will this do to the predators? Decrease. This is known as a predator-prey dynamic. So let's see if you can answer these four questions. All right. Here's the first one. We have a rise in the prey population. Kenneth, what would cause there to be a rise in the prey population?
Not a lot of predators.
That's it. Not a lot of predators. Okay? Cause and effect. So the prey goes up. Over time, the predators will rebound. So the predators are now going up. What will this do to the prey? The prey will go down. If the prey goes down, what will happen to the predators soon thereafter? I think this is where we're going to stop. If the prey, the amount of food, the amount of rabbits is on the decline, or no, it's on the incline, what will happen to the amount of predators after that? The predators will follow the prey trend. That's what you need to know. The trend that the prey has is going to be followed by the trend that the predators have. If there's a fall in prey population, first off, why would there be a fall in prey population? There's too many predators. And if the prey drops, what will happen shortly thereafter? The predators drop. Okay, give that some time. You guys definitely have to know that trend. And notice that, look right here. Prey goes up, predators went up. What happened to the prey as the predators are increasing at that same time? They're going down. All those links that are in the hair. Okay, we're going to flash forward to the last part. We've done mutualism. You should know all that. This is what I want to end class with today. Succession. We have 3 minutes, 4 minutes. All right. Ecological succession is basically turning nothing into something. And when I say nothing, I mean there's no ecosystem at all. There's just like barren rock. And you go from having barren rock to soil. Soil to mosses and grass. To bushes and shrubs. To a tree here or there. To a huge forest, which is a climax community. This is known as ecological succession, where one level is the foundation for the next level. A change involving a series of species replaces in a community. There are 2 types of succession. It's actually very simple, I think. The first type of succession is called primary succession. This is where you start from scratch and making an entire ecosystem. The key point when it comes to primary succession is 2 things. One, there is no soil yet. You actually have to have these microscopic fungi called lichen break down rocks into soil. This takes thousands of years. It's a very slow process to make soil. And once you have soil, then you can get grass, and then you can get bushes, and then you can get trees and animals. But primary succession takes thousands of years because there's no soil in it. You have to make soil. Secondary succession is very fast. I have a quick story. Something that you don't often see when you're on the bus in middle school is a house on fire. Imagine that. Some of you probably never seen a house on fire in your lives in person. Well, we were driving down the road one day and there's this house on fire. Crazy. The next day we drove by that same property and there was this ash and burnt grass and trees and just destruction. And then about a week later they took out all the debris and all the grass was black, the ground was scorched, the trees were burned down. Pretty bad. The next year, I was in 8th grade on the bus and home. The grass was back, the trees were back, bushes were growing. Like it never happened. That was secondary succession. The reason why it happened so fast is because soil was present. So secondary succession is very quick. And finally, the first organisms that actually settle into a new area are called the pioneer species. Just like Christopher Columbus or the Vikings were pioneers, or Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were pioneers, the first humans to step foot on the moon. A pioneer species is typically the first something to arrive in a new area. Typically, plants are going to be the pioneer species when it comes to ecological succession. Now, what would cause secondary succession to happen in the first place? Here, take a look at this. Look up here, guys. Here you have barren rock. Lichen, which is a fungus, breaks down that rock. And you get soil, then you have grasses, shrubs, and trees. Now you have a climax community, a huge, big, giant forest. What happens to big, huge, giant forests sometimes? They burn down. But even if a forest burns down, what is still there that wasn't there to start with? Soil. And so this forest can recover rather quickly when you compare it to primary succession. So last time, primary succession, no soil, you have to make the soil. It takes hundreds of years. The climax community burns down, and then it can start over rather quickly because there's still soil present. Okay. We have 2 more weeks of this content. You guys have a test in 2 weeks.